Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So it is New Year's Eve and I am getting ready before some friends come over in a few hours. I figured I'd just start getting ready now, that way I can edit for like a couple hours or something before everybody comes over. And while I'm getting ready and doing my makeup, I wanted to talk about my chronic illness, I guess is what I can call it. It has been several months, so I guess at that point you can call it chronic. It does make me a little bit nervous to like call it a chronic illness because there's some people that have chronic illnesses that have taken over like their whole life. They've had it since they were born. This is not one of those situations. As you may know if you've been watching my channel for a while, this is a go-go dancing informational channel, but I no longer go-go dance because of this chronic illness. I'm trying to use up the last little bit of this NYX Shine Killer. It's fine, I just don't love the charcoal element of it. Back in April of 2023, if you're watching this in the coming years or whatever you're watching this, I got sick twice in the same month. One was from my regular day job and one was from my go-go dancing job. I'm sure anybody else that has ever worked in a bar or a club or anything knows that you get sick pretty often because of the amount of people that you're just in contact with. I'm going in with the last little bit of my Estee Lauder Double Wear in rattan just because, you know, it's New Year's Eve, I'm gonna go all out. So basically, like, the first time I got sick, I was like really sick for like a week and then it started to fade away after that second week. And then I got sick again, seriously sick for 1 week, and then it was starting to fade away in that second week. However, it just never fully went away. I had a doctor's appointment for other stuff, so I figured during that doctor's appointment, I would ask, hey, is there anything I can do about this lingering cough and like cold symptoms that I have? And she didn't really have anything for me to do, just kind of waited out a little bit more. And that was probably the first red flag, because that following weekend, I went into urgent care. When I went into urgent care, I explained to the urgent care doctor that, like, my situation. He prescribed me a round of topical oral steroids to take as well as an inhaled steroid. And that significantly helped my coughing. Like, at this point, I was coughing so bad at night, like I had a hard time falling asleep. After this round of steroids, it definitely reduced the amount of coughing that I was doing overall, and it wasn't a dry cough anymore. It was a productive cough where I would feel something in the back of my throat, I would cough it up, and then I'd be done coughing until the next time I'd feel something in the back of my throat, versus before I was on the medication, I would just cough nonstop. So I finished the round of steroids that I got from urgent care, and I still had this productive cough. It wasn't nearly as bad as before the round of steroids, but it was still kind of there. So I went back to the doctor that originally didn't prescribe me anything. We had a conversation that ultimately just led to me getting prescribed Montelukast. Montelukast is an anti-mucus, because I essentially in this conversation, whether or not it was perceived by her or told out of my mouth, essentially walked away with, you want to stop producing so much mucus, when in reality, I just wanted to stop coughing so much. I was coughing for about like 8 hours a day. So anyways, I start taking the Montelukast, and instead of a productive cough for 8 hours a day, I just have a dry cough for 8 hours a day. There were some other things in the conversation with this doctor that just kind of made me feel like she didn't want to medicate me, especially considering the first time I saw her, she just didn't give me anything going forward. She kind of just said, tea with honey and lemon, rest, and then the second time she gave me a medication that just turned my wet cough into a dry cough and didn't help at all with the fact that I was coughing for 8 hours a day. I'm going into contour with the Rare Beauty contour stick in shade Always Sunny. My last ditch effort before switching doctors was just messaging the nurse practitioner, the first doctor, the nurse practitioner, to just get prescribed a Ventolin inhaler, a rescue inhaler for most people who have asthma. I just messaged her because she brought that up as a potential medication, but didn't prescribe it to me right away because we wanted to see what the Montelukast would do first. After I saw that the Montelukast wasn't really doing a whole lot, I asked for the Ventolin inhaler, which also really didn't help me. It would maybe help me for like up to 30 minutes at a time, and then I would immediately start coughing again. Sometimes it would do absolutely nothing, and I would just still be coughing for 8 hours straight a day. So that was kind of my last ditch effort with that doctor before switching to an MD. The first thing that the MD put me on was antacids for about a month, and the reason for that is just because I'm starting with this new doctor from square one, trying to eliminate everything that my cough could possibly be. So we wanted to first determine that it wasn't stomach acid that was causing me the cough. Was on a round of that for about a month. That didn't do anything, so we switched from the Ventolin inhaler to this Symbicort inhaler. Since I'm going super heavy with the makeup tonight, I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape. It's in shade light medium or 29N. I honestly should have done this first before contouring, but this is what happens when I talk while I do makeup. I completely forget how to do one or the other, whether it's put on makeup or talk. The Symbicort inhaler basically did nothing. After trying to figure out whether or not the inhaler works, he sends me to an asthma testing clinic. They don't really tell you whether or not you have asthma. They give you a bunch of results, but they're kind of hard to interpret by just like a layperson. You'll probably have to go to like a doctor to actually get it interpreted correctly. Essentially what he told me is that if you have asthma, your baseline capability of breathing is going to be limited and less than the average person. He said that my breathing capability is that of a normal person, someone that does not have asthma. He did say that I had a lot of inflammation, which was causing the coughing. He ultimately determines that I do not have asthma, which is frustrating because the nurse practitioner who first saw me prescribed me 2 different things for people with asthma, which I did not have, nor did I ever get tested for asthma. And honestly, I just kind of felt like she just assumed that I had asthma without testing me for asthma. I told her I don't have a history of having asthma. My family does not have a history of having asthma either. And yet I was still put on 2 different asthma medications. And I don't really blame the MD for putting me on a 3rd asthma medication because he saw my records showing that I am on asthma medications. So maybe the first 2 asthma medications didn't work. Let's try this other one. And I assume it just took him a minute to realize, hey, maybe this person has never been tested for asthma. Let's even see if like that's the problem here. Results come back, and basically the conclusion is that I don't have asthma. That was disappointing to hear, that someone kind of just wasted my time for a couple months, and I've been suffering for like a couple of months. The setting powder I'm using is the Beauty Bakery setting powder flower in shade Cassava, or the yellow color. So after discovering that I in fact don't have asthma and I shouldn't be treated like an asthma person, as a person with asthma person, the MD decides to send me to a specialist, an ENT or ear, nose, and throat specialist, which I am so thankful for. In retrospect, I probably should have gone there a lot sooner. I did not get sent to the specialist until August, so I was suffering for, let's see, April, May, June, July, for 4 months before getting just the baseline correct doctor. I think I just want to go with like a really funky eyeliner, and I'm just gonna go pretty minimal with the eyeshadow. I'm just gonna go in with this kind of bone off-white color on my lid. I'm just gonna put that all over my lid as like a base. So I go to the ENT, and the PA shoves a camera up my nose and records it, and we kind of walk through what's going on in there. From the recording, you could see my vocal folds, which were pretty normal and not irritated and inflamed. If they were inflamed, that would most likely be stomach acid, so it wasn't stomach acid. The color of the mucus inside of my sinuses was a clear / off-white, so because it wasn't super opaque, nor was it like a greenish color, I did not have a sinus infection. However, I did just have a large amount of goop inside all of my sinuses, the cause of which was still kind of unknown at this point, But instead of trying to find the source, because we can't figure out what the source is, we're just going to treat the symptoms. So she prescribed me an entire nose routine. Much like a skincare routine, I was supposed to do this nose routine every single night, preferably at night because some of these medications can make you drowsy. Starting with a saline nasal rinse, followed by 2 different nasal sprays, budesonide and azelastine. I'm debating whether I want to do a barbed wire eyeliner look or just kind of like a random shapes, like alternative looking eyeliner. I think I want to go with a barbed wire look. I'm hoping I have the capability to do it though, because I think it might be kind of difficult. I did look at a single TikTok tutorial, so I think I'm capable. That took forever. I basically had to scrap a lot of ideas and then just kind of ultimately settle on this. I don't know. I think it's fun and different. I added some glitter that I just got from a Japanese beauty brand. You know, just don't look too close at it. I'm gonna go in with my Rare Beauty blush. It's in the shade Joy. I forgot where I was because that took so long. Oh, I was on my nose routine. So that nose routine has been my, like, godsend. It's been the only thing that's done anything besides steroids. Basically, the PA that prescribed it to me was like, well, since we don't know what the source of your problems are, we're just gonna treat all of the goop and we're gonna dry you the hell out. And that is exactly what that nose routine did. It dried me the hell out. I basically stopped coughing for 8 hours a day and I got put down to like 1 hour a day. And so I was on that nose routine for like 6 weeks, and I was still having like 1 coughing fit a day for like an hour or 2. So I reached back out to the ENT, letting them know that I'm still experiencing some symptoms. So she gave me the option to either do allergy testing or an MRI of the inside of my sinuses that she couldn't see with the camera. She was leaning a little bit more towards allergy testing as opposed to the MRI, because the MRI would kind of indicate if I had an infection, and from what she could see, she was pretty sure I did not have an infection. But still, the MRI would be good. That's just her only reasoning for leaning towards the allergy testing. So I kind of followed her advice and went and saw an allergist. The allergist listened to what I had to say about like my history and whatnot and what I've been going through. From my description, he was leaning a little bit more towards an MRI rather than allergy testing. Basically, the nose routine that I am currently on is what he would prescribe me regardless of whether I tested positive or negative for allergies. So he figured since I'm already being medicated pretty heavily for allergies, he wouldn't be able to tell me anything more or prescribe me anything different from what I currently have. So instead, I go from the allergy testing to the MRI. The MRI came back and I got the results interpreted by an actual ENT doctor. So different from the person who shoved the camera up my nose. That person was more of like an assistant to the ENT specialist. I actually saw the ENT specialist / surgeon. After he looked at the results, he basically said, I am going to put you on one final round of antibiotics and steroids. If this doesn't change anything, we can discuss surgery. I feel like this blush looks really intense on my phone compared to like in the mirror, so I'm gonna do more even though it's probably gonna look kind of crazy on my phone. Between getting the allergist, the MRI, doing the nose routine, all this whole entire time, it has now progressed to November. Just like fully suffering for 4 months and then lightly suffering for another, let's see, September, October, November, for another 3 months. I am debating whether I want to go for like a more neutral lip or like a dark red. Ooh, compromise. I'm gonna do like a blotted lip where it's like darker in the middle and then like it fades to lighter on the outside. So I take the rounds of steroids and antibiotics. That takes, I think, like a month. And I reach back out and saying, hey, after the round of steroids and antibiotics. I'm basically back to where I was before that. So then I scheduled an appointment to see about what the surgery risk would be, because I could go in for surgery, but depending on what the problem is or how intense the problem is, it may or may not even be worth it. Like, if cutting my face open and the amount of damage that that can cause would cause more damage than what I'm currently going through, which is really honestly not that bad. I cough for like up to an hour a day, or realistically not even really coughing, it's more just like blowing my nose a lot. That appointment is scheduled. It's gonna be halfway through January when I'm due for that, so we'll see what they have to say. But that has basically been my journey with my chronic illness. This makeup looks like kind of ridiculous on camera, but like it's a little bit cool. And also, like, I'm just in like a t-shirt, and like I haven't done like my hair and outfit and all that. So, oh, you know why it looks ridiculous? I have no mascara on. See, that's what happens when I do these videos, is that I completely forget what I'm doing. I have no mascara on and I have no highlighter on. I have a feeling it's still gonna look like pretty clowny. I recently discovered Japanese/Korean makeup brands, and like I just always assumed that like, oh, it's like subtle, you know, not exactly what I'm going for. Japanese mascaras do way better for me than American mascaras because I have stick straight hair. So if I try and curl my eyelashes, it's gonna deflate, and like the weight of an American mascara causes it to deflate even faster. But for whatever reason, when they formulate Japanese mascaras, it keeps it curled for like all day. This one is by the brand Judy Doll. It is their Slim Iron Mascara, and it's got like a very interesting brush. So I saw this on TikTok. I saw somebody talk about this on TikTok, and I bought it off of, I think the website's called Chic Descent or Chic Decent. This has been my like go-to mascara. I'm gonna go do outfit and hair, and then when I come back, it's just gonna be a voiceover of me. All right, here is what I look like with outfit and hair, and as well as lashes. What do you guys think? Also, thanks for tuning into my story on my sickness that I've been having since April. I also forgot to mention the kind of origin story of all this. So basically, we figured out that because I was sick for so long in April, my immune system just like stayed on from there on out. It just didn't know to turn off. It kind of got so used to being on and causing a bunch of inflammation and fluids and whatnot that it just didn't think to turn off. So that's why the steroids helped. It kind of was telling my body to turn off my immune system. So yeah, we're gonna see what the surgeon has to say. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you like the video, subscribe if you haven't. Comment below what you think is wrong with me. No, I'm not gonna take unsolicited medical advice from the internet. I don't know, tell me what you think of this makeup. Do you think I look like a clown? Hope everybody has a wonderful new year. Comment whatever your New Year's resolutions may or may not be. And I'll see you guys in the new year. Thanks for watching. Bye.